In this video, we delve into a critical turning point in the fight against climate change as former President Trump dismantles federal climate programs across the board. From severe budget cuts at the EPA to the narrowing of crucial NASA research, the implications of these decisions are vast and deeply concerning. We'll explore the impact of these changes on clean energy initiatives, public awareness, and sustainable transportation, while also highlighting the resilience of states and activists who are stepping up to fill the void left by federal action. Join us as we confront the stark reality of a national neglect of climate issues and examine who is left to champion the health of our planet. 1. Trump's climate program dismantling. A new reality. In a series of unprecedented moves, President Trump dismantled nearly every major federal climate program. This action eliminated essential funding for climate research, renewable energy, and environmental protection. Programs that once worked to safeguard our planet's future were left in tatters, and the ramifications of these decisions are still unfolding. For instance, initiatives focused on reducing greenhouse gas emissions were abruptly halted, leaving many experts and advocates concerned about the long-term impacts. This dismantling has left a void in the United States' approach to climate action, raising questions about the nation's commitment to environmental stewardship. As a result, countless projects and policies that once aimed to mitigate climate change have vanished, leaving environmentalists scrambling for solutions. 2. EPA budget cuts. A blow to environmental regulation. The Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, a cornerstone of the United States environmental regulation, saw its budget slashed under Trump's administration. This significant reduction in funding has weakened the agency's ability to regulate pollution and enforce environmental laws. With less financial support, the EPA struggled to carry out its essential functions, such as monitoring air and water quality. The weakening of the EPA's regulatory capabilities has left many communities vulnerable to increased pollution and environmental hazards. The budget cuts have also led to a reduction in staff, further hampering the agency's ability to address environmental issues effectively. This situation has sparked widespread concern among environmental advocates, who fear that the agency's diminished capacity will lead to long-term harm to the planet. 3. Narrowing the scope of NASA's climate research. NASA's climate monitoring initiatives were not spared from the budget cuts, significantly limiting research on global temperature changes, ice melt, and greenhouse gas levels. These programs, which once played a crucial role in understanding the planet's changing climate, have been severely restricted. Without adequate funding, NASA's ability to gather and analyze critical climate data has been compromised. This reduction in research capacity has left scientists with fewer tools to study the Earth's climate systems and predict future changes. The defunding of NASA's climate initiatives has been met with alarm from the scientific community, as it undermines efforts to address the global climate crisis. As a result, the world may be less prepared to respond to the challenges posed by climate change. 4. Stalling clean energy progress. Department of Energy's challenges. The Department of Energy's Office of Energy Efficiency and Renewable Energy, EER, faced deep cuts, stalling advancements in clean energy technology. These budget reductions have hindered the development of sustainable energy solutions that are essential for reducing carbon emissions. Projects aimed at improving energy efficiency and increasing the use of renewable energy sources have been put on hold or abandoned altogether. The cuts have also impacted research and development efforts, slowing the progress of innovative technologies that could transform the energy landscape. This setback has left the United States lagging behind in the global race to transition to a clean energy future. As other countries continue to invest in renewable energy, the U.S. risks falling behind in the pursuit of sustainable energy solutions. 5. Silencing climate science. Advisory panels disbanded. Trump's administration disbanded multiple climate science advisory panels, silencing experts who provided data-driven policy recommendations. These panels, composed of leading scientists and researchers, played a vital role in informing government decisions on climate policy. Without their input, policymakers are left without the guidance needed to develop effective strategies for addressing climate change. The disbanding of these panels has been criticized for undermining the role of science in shaping environmental policy. This move has left a gap in the knowledge and expertise available to guide the nation's climate actions. By removing these voices from the decision-making process, the administration has limited its ability to respond to the challenges of climate change effectively. 6. Withdrawing from global climate leadership. The U.S. withdrew from its position as a global climate leader by pulling out of the Paris Agreement and cutting funding for international environmental programs. This decision signaled a retreat from the country's commitments to addressing climate change on a global scale. The withdrawal from the Paris Agreement, in particular, has been seen as a step backward in the fight against climate change. By abandoning these international efforts, the U.S. has diminished its influence in shaping global climate policy. This move has also raised concerns about the country's ability to collaborate with other nations in addressing the shared challenges of climate change. The lack of U.S. leadership has left a void in the international community's efforts to combat climate change, prompting other countries to step up their commitments. 7. Erasing climate change information. A barrier to public awareness. Trump's administration removed climate change information from government websites, making it harder for the public to access scientific data. This action has created barriers to public awareness and understanding of the issues surrounding climate change. By erasing this information, the administration has limited the availability of resources that educate the public about the impacts of climate change. This lack of access to information has hindered efforts to raise awareness and promote climate action among the general public. Environmental advocates have criticized this move as an attempt to downplay the seriousness of climate change and its consequences. The removal of climate change information from government websites has left individuals and organizations searching for alternative sources of information to stay informed. 8. Challenges in sustainable transportation. Reduced funding for EV research. Federal funding for electric vehicle, EV, and battery technology research was dramatically reduced, slowing innovation in sustainable transportation. These cuts have hindered efforts to develop cleaner and more efficient transportation options that are vital for reducing carbon emissions. The reduction in funding has affected research and development initiatives aimed at improving EV technology and expanding the availability of charging infrastructure. This setback has slowed the progress of the automotive industry in transitioning to more sustainable transportation solutions. By reducing support for EV research, the administration has limited the potential for innovation in this critical area. The cuts have left the U.S. lagging behind in the global push for cleaner transportation options, raising concerns about the nation's ability to meet future emissions reduction targets. 9. Resignations and firings. A crisis in environmental agencies. Scientists, researchers, and climate officials resigned or were fired, leaving critical environmental agencies understaffed. This exodus of talent has created a crisis within agencies tasked with addressing environmental issues. The loss of experienced professionals has weakened the capacity of these agencies to carry out their missions effectively. The departure of key personnel has also led to a loss of institutional knowledge and expertise, further hampering efforts to address climate change. The understaffing of environmental agencies has raised concerns about their ability to respond to environmental challenges and enforce regulations. This situation has prompted calls for renewed support and investment in these agencies to ensure they can fulfill their responsibilities. 10. States and activists. The new climate leaders. With the federal government stepping back, individual states, environmental groups, and activists have had to take the lead in climate action. These entities have stepped up to fill the void left by the federal government's retreat from climate leadership. Many states have implemented their own climate policies and initiatives to reduce emissions and promote renewable energy. Environmental groups and activists have mobilized to advocate for stronger climate action and raise awareness about the urgency of the issue. This grassroots movement has gained momentum, demonstrating the power of local and community-driven efforts in addressing climate change. While the federal government's actions have posed challenges, states and activists have shown resilience and determination in their pursuit of a sustainable future.